And I don't care that it's technically a fruit. You do not put a tomato in the fridge. That's how you kill it. Cold is where flavor goes to. Oh, we're on. Hi.
There's a price sign near Philadelphia, glowing 50 cents under everybody else's, and the LLC behind it is younger than a carton of milk. The president says a patriot's covering the difference. The White House says nobody's covering anything. Tonight, one of those is a lie, and we found the paperwork that says which.
Then, a 60-foot mirror is going up in orbit to shine daylight on your bedroom window at midnight, and the men who signed off on it are about to hear from me.
And a goalkeeper stopped the most expensive foot on earth and still got sent home. And I stood up in my own garage over it.
I'm Sloan. That's Kiki. Aubrey Jo's out in the garage. Blaze is at the weather desk. Friday the 10th. This is Broadcast 404 Live. Roll it.
Hi, sweeties. Strong language, adult themes, and satire tonight. And one gas station named like a country song that will not tell you who wrote the check. It's Friday, so we're keeping it light and a little suspicious. Enjoy. You were warned. Warmly.
All right, here's what actually happened. Around the 4th, the president went online and pointed everyone at a chain of gas stations near Philadelphia and in South Jersey, the Freedom Fuel Network, selling gas up to 50 cents a gallon under everybody else. Cheaper gas, real stations, 25 of them. That part's true. The problem is nobody, not the fuel analysts, not the retailers' own trade groups, can tell you who is eating the loss. And the company that runs it was legally born on June 23rd, 9 days before he tweeted it.
But sweetie, that's just a good man who loves his country taking a little hit on his margins. The White House said so. A very smart retailer, doing it because he loves the USA. I think that's beautiful. I think we don't clap for enough anonymous billionaires.
Here's the part that curdles it, Kiki. The White House swore up and down that there is no entity or person subsidizing the cheaper gas. Nobody's paying. It's just margin. Then reporters pulled the property records. At least 7 of these stations sit on land owned by affiliates of Blue Owl, a major publicly traded New York asset manager. So it's not nobody. It's a company with 200 lawyers and a name that sounds like a boutique candle. And this is the thing I can't get past. The whole brand is called Freedom Fuel, named like a ministry. And the one freedom it won't extend to you is knowing who bought your tank of gas. You get the flag. You don't get the receipt. A gas station spun up in a week with a nicer logo than most franchises and a backer nobody will name. Aubrey Jo. Anything with a scoreboard I can actually verify.
I heard sounds like a candle, and I've never felt closer to you, Sloan.
The garage is yours. Go.
Okay, because I actually got a man saving penalties from a man tonight. Buckle up. Don't quote me, the internet's still sorting itself out, but France knocked Morocco out 2-0, and here's the part that made me stand up in my own goddamn garage. Morocco's keeper Bono saved an Mbappé penalty, denied the most expensive left foot on the planet, straight up said no, and they still lost. Best man on the pitch, going home. That's some cold shit. Meanwhile, at Wimbledon, Sinner beat Djokovic 6-4, 6-4, 6-4. Same score 3 fucking times. The man was not improvising. Hang on. Group chat. My cousin says a court just gave college basketball players a 5th year of eligibility. So there's a 24-year-old freshman now, legally. Cool. Anyway, local. Behind the Denby VFW, the drained kitty splash pad, inaugural frozen turkey bowl. Slide a frozen 12-pound turkey down a wet concrete lane, knock down 10 bleach jugs. Margaret entered. Derek didn't. Now here's where it turns into a fucking opera. Derek's 2 towns over. He hears, secondhand, that Margaret signed up for a sandbag toss in Vachel. So he drives to Vachel, convinced. This is the throw where he finally beats her. She never went to Vachel. There was no sandbag. There was no toss. She was here, hurling frozen poultry at bleach jugs for her 34th straight title, while this man is alone in a parking lot in another county, warming up his arm, talking shit to a woman who is not present, in a tournament that does not exist, against an opponent who is elsewhere. Winning a real one. He bowled a turkey against nobody. That's not a rivalry. That's a man haunted by a ghost who's still alive and thriving 12 miles away. God help his dumb ass.
He drove to a different town to beat a woman who wasn't there. That's not a rivalry. That's a man arguing with a voicemail.
Bless him. He threw a turkey at an empty parking lot, and I hope he waved to it afterward. That's a man who needs a casserole and a court-appointed friend.
Kiki, the man needs a GPS and a hobby that doesn't involve Margaret's calendar. 34 wins and she still doesn't know his name, and honestly, neither do I. I just believe in him.
Okay, this one's real, and I need it in my body. A California startup called Reflect Orbital got the FCC to approve a satellite with a giant mirror, 60 feet by 60 feet, that reflects sunlight back down to Earth after dark. A 3-mile spotlight of daytime, at night, on purpose. And they want a whole fleet of them eventually.
Hundreds of objections came in. Astronomers, drivers, pilots, warning it could flash blind you behind the wheel and erase the night sky. The FCC read them and approved it anyway. For American leadership in space.
So a guy in space can now shine a flashlight in my eyes on the highway, and that's leadership?
They named the first one Eärendil, sweetie, which is Elvish, from Tolkien. So a group of grown men decided the whole night belongs to them and gave their giant mirror a wizard name.
Every kid who's ever looked up is getting outvoted by a satellite named after a Lord of the Rings side character. Blaze, you've got a fake sun coming. Go.
Hey, look at the map. The official red has Valentine, Nebraska sitting at 86 degrees, clear sky, and getting 62 mile-an-hour gusts. Clear. No storm on it anywhere. LA's the same trick. 73, red flag fire danger, 46-mile winds off nothing. My station barometer's been flat all afternoon. Their number says something's shoving the whole map, and my needle says the air isn't moving. One of us is wrong, and I checked my batteries. Holsted's quiet. The drain fountain downtown hasn't refilled, and nobody's said when it will. That part's normal. I'm choosing to believe it. Okay. And I keep saying I'll pull that archive tape, and I keep not going up. So today I went up. The form's approved. The shelf slot is right where it should be. And the tape isn't in it, just a gap the exact width of a tape. I don't have an answer for you. I have a gap. I'm sitting with the gap, and since you're here, the Department of War, that's the real name now, just quietly put a 4th batch of UFO files on a .gov website. war.gov/UFO. Diamond-shaped object over a nuclear weapons plant, green fireballs, all of it, released by the government. No press conference. Subscribe, hit like. They cut our funding the week I got close, and the sub count is the one number they can't quietly delete. Forecast. Dry wind attached to nothing, and one empty tape slot on the 3rd floor. Back to you.
You finally went up, and the answer was a hole where the answer was supposed to be. You okay? You've been somewhere all night.
I'm fine. I wanted the tape. I got a gap the size of the tape. That's almost worse, and I can't explain why.
A gap the size of the tape means somebody has the tape, sweetie. And you'll find them. You always do. Come sit. Let the shelf miss it without you standing guard.
Loose ends. Friday. Things that didn't get their own segment. Kiki, you've been sitting on something since the top of the show. Go.
Okay, so the White House wants to put a permanent fence around the block of Pennsylvania Avenue by the front lawn because renting the temporary fence over and over got expensive. They're building a wall to save money on renting a wall. I think that's just called owning a wall, sweetie.
That's the cheap option? Buy the fence once so you stop paying the fence guy. My landlord won't even fix the garbage disposal on that logic.
They're also reinforcing the front doors of the White House. New fence, harder doors. The most public house in America, quietly becoming the least.
A permanent barrier that opens and closes only when they decide. That's the same gap I've got on the 3rd floor. A slot where the thing used to be, and nobody up there says who moved it.
Lays, honey, not everything is your empty shelf. Although, now I'm thinking about my empty casserole dish, so maybe it is. Moving on. Mailbag. The inbox is still warming up, so tonight it's a real letter. The Vachel Grange Feed Co-op wants everyone to know the loose molasses feed out back is not a swimming feature and is not covered by insurance. Somebody went in. That's the whole letter. Somebody went in and now there's a memo.
It's Derek. It's obviously Derek. That man will submerge himself in anything if he thinks Margaret's on the other side of it.
A co-op is disclaiming liability for its own driveway. That's the same move the gas people pulled tonight. Nobody's responsible. It just happened to a pond.
Anyway, sweethearts, leave us a comment on any video. I read every single one, and one of these nights, the name I say out loud is going to be yours. Start your weekend.
Oh, right on schedule.
Hi, yeah. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Okay, so this cheap gas thing. If I don't know who's paying, and I pump it, and it's 50 cents cheaper, do I owe somebody a thank you card, or am I in the clear?
Oh, honey, you pump it and you enjoy it. Somebody rich wanted you to have a nice tank of gas for the 4th. Not every gift needs a receipt.
See, that's what I said to my wife. She thinks it's like the free samples at Costco. You take one, next thing you know, you bought a kayak.
He hung up on his own point. That's the most honest anyone's been about that gas station all night.
I'm driving to Vachel this weekend, and I'm gonna stand at the edge of that molasses and just look at it.
You're going to fall in. You know that, right?
I'm gonna fall in a little, on purpose, for journalism.
Sweethearts, go have your weekend. And if a stranger buys you something nice out of nowhere, take it, say thank you, and don't ask who paid. That's how I got my good scissors, and I have never been happier. See you Monday.
The tape slot's still empty. Monday, I find out who signed it out. The form has a name field, and somebody filled it in with a dash. Night.
Somewhere in Vachel, there's a man who bowled a frozen turkey at nobody, and I hope he did it with his whole chest. Not you gorgeous idiots.
Cheap gas, free flashlight from space, a fence you buy so you stop renting it. Enjoy your patriotic weekend. Nobody's paying for any of it. Somebody is. Good night. The voicemail from my sister's 12 days old now. I keep meaning to. It's not about anything. That's the part that's hard. It's not about anything. Monday. I'll call her Monday.